If you're planning a trip to Lithuania, then you have come to the right place. In this video, you will see 15 different locations across the country, which I think are wonderful to visit while traveling inside Lithuania. Lithuania is most widely known for Vilnius, Kaunas, Klaipėda and Trakai, which are all amazing to visit, but there are many more places which are maybe less known but can give great experiences. If you have been watching my channel for a while now, then you definitely know that I have been traveling a lot around the country in recent years and visiting its numerous towns and villages. But if you have come to this YouTube channel for the first time, then it's great to see you, and my name is Justina. I am native to Lithuania and I travel around the country making videos about each region. So today I thought to share some of the best and most memorable places to see in Lithuania in my own opinion. I prepared a list of 15 places to visit, but the list has no particular order by its attractiveness, as this definitely depends on person to person. I also made videos about each place individually, and if you are interested to know more about some of the places I mentioned, there will be links in the description box below. Let's start the list with the obvious and a must-visit in Lithuania, the capital Vilnius. There is no visit to Lithuania without visiting the capital. Vilnius is the heart of the country, no matter how much it hurts for me to say this, as I am originally from Kaunas, the eternal rival of Vilnius. But let's talk about Kaunas later. Vilnius is of course the most visited city in Lithuania, as it has wonderful places to see and things to enjoy. Vilnius is famous for its beautiful historical old town, which is part of the UNESCO World Heritage List. It's great to wander through its winding maze-like streets, not yet overcrowded as many other cities in Europe. There are various hidden gems there and wonderful historical churches to see, like one of the oldest in the country, the Church of St. Anne. Vilnius also has an interesting artist neighborhood called Užupis, decorated with various art installations, boutique shops, and which has its own rules and even constitution. Vilnius is also home to some of the most visited museums in Lithuania, such as the Palace of the Grand Dukes, National History Museum, and Gediminas Castle Tower, which also provides great views of the city. Whether you are visiting in summer or winter, Vilnius will always be great to check out, as there are many seasonal events and festivals, as well as the most varied culinary scene in the country and lively nightlife. There is no time to get bored there. Next on the list is Trakai, a small town surrounded by pristine lakes and famous for its beautiful Gothic castle nestled on an island in a lake. Being so close to Vilnius, Trakai is a perfect day trip option from there. Trakai Castle Museum is definitely the main attraction here, with an interesting collection showcasing the golden age of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. But even if you're not into visiting museums, Trakai is still a great option to see the Lithuanian countryside. There are plenty of paths to walk by the lakes, the historical colorful houses to see, and you must eat some kibinai there, a famous local pastry. During the summer, Trakai truly shines. The lake surrounding the castle is a wonderful place both for boat rides and swimming, as its water is very clear and clean. Now let's go to Kaunas, the second largest city in Lithuania. Kaunas is great to visit, and not just because I say so about my hometown. Kaunas is situated on the confluence of two rivers, giving a beautiful landscape for the whole city, and its old town is situated right next to the tip. While the old town is considerably smaller than Vilnius Old Town, it still has some beautiful, well-preserved buildings, even from the Gothic architecture, and the city has more to offer for architecture fans. Kaunas was recently added to the UNESCO Heritage List for its modernist architecture. And of course, the city has some interesting museums to visit too, such as the Art Museum of Mikalojus Konstantinas Čiurlionis, the Devil's Museum, and the Museum of the Nymph Fort. Meanwhile, the city these days attracts more and more visitors for something else entirely: the concert venues. In recent years, Kaunas has become the go-to place in the Baltics for many famous musicians touring Europe, such as Dua Lipa, Ed Sheeran, and in the summer of 2025, Justin Timberlake and Robbie Williams will be coming too. The fourth place well worth a visit while in Lithuania is Klaipėda, the port city. It is distinct from other cities around the country not just because it's built at the seaside, but for its German-style old towns architecture too. Klaipėda has a beautiful old town to explore as well as one of the best museums to visit, the Lithuanian Sea Museum, situated on the Curonian spit across the lagoon from the old town. The museum itself is a historical military fort and has exhibitions both for that and lots of aquariums to see various sea life. Klaipėda is a popular city to visit during the summer, as it is a great place if you want to enjoy the sea but still have the comforts of city life, and the rent prices are usually lower than the resorts nearby. But there is one time in the summer when Klaipėda gets completely packed. It is in the end of July when the Sea Festival takes place. It is a large few-day festivity which includes parades, craft markets, concerts and various other events celebrating life by the sea. Speaking of life by the sea, one place not to miss out on in Lithuania is the Curonian Spit National Park, which is the small strip of land beginning from Klaipėda and the Sea Museum there and stretching south all the way to Nida and to the border, and it is only reachable by ferries. It is a beautiful natural corner of Lithuania, very much appreciated by locals and travelers, and it is a part of the UNESCO World Heritage List too. The vast pine tree forests and sand dunes with the coast to the lagoon and the long natural beach on the other side make this place perfect for those who seek relaxation in nature. There are a few small resorts along the coast of the lagoon which used to be fishing villages. They still keep the same aesthetic with the traditional red and blue wooden houses built at the coast. The largest towns there are Juodkrantė and Nida, both of which are great places to stay for a holiday. Some of the most interesting places to see in the Curonian Spit National Park are the Dead Dunes, Parnidis Dune in Nida, the Hill of Witches in Juodkrantė, and for birdwatching, the colony of grey herons and great cormorants. Nida, being the largest town here, also has several museums to visit, so there definitely be plenty of things to do while having a holiday there. Another coastal location to visit is Palanga, the so-called summer capital of Lithuania. Palanga is the most popular summer beach destination in the country, and it is a lively resort town, just 30 kilometers from Klaipėda. While it does get really crowded during the hot summer days, it is still well worth a visit if you want to enjoy a holiday with a bustling nightlife too. But Palanga still has more than that. One great place to visit here is Palanga Manor House, with an amber museum inside and a large botanical park. Situated next to the beach, it is a wonderful natural oasis with ponds, fountains, rose gardens and various species of plants. The historical manor house itself is also a beautiful place to visit, and the museum inside has a unique collection telling the story of amber, the gold of Lithuania. Next to Palanga is another small town, Kretinga. It is often overlooked, as it is not situated on the coast. But if you like history, nature and manor houses, it is well worth a visit too. Kretinga has a wonderful manor house with a winter garden, built in the 19th century and well taken care of to this day. The manor is open to visitors as a museum with multiple manor buildings in the area. But the star of the place is the winter garden, which is such a beautiful place, and not even the botanical gardens in Kaunas and Vilnius have such beautiful indoor gardens in my opinion. There even is a restaurant on the second floor overlooking the garden. The next great place to visit in Lithuania is Birštonas Mineral Resort. Located just 30 kilometers south of Kaunas, it is an easy escape from the city bustle. Birštonas is well known for its mineral spa resorts and the serene nature surrounding it. It is worth a visit throughout all seasons in order to enjoy mineral spa procedures and fresh air. The town is also surrounded by Nemunas Loops Regional Park, as the river Nemunas is making a lot of loops in the area. In Birštonas you can get the best views of the river from the tallest observational tower in Lithuania, and if you feel more adventurous, then nearby there is Pociūnai Aerodrome, which provides recreational flights with gliders and small airplanes above the beautiful landscape. The regional park also has lots of forest trails and historical hill forts to explore for nature lovers. Another destination similar to Birštonas is Druskininkai, a much larger resort town at the very tip of southern Lithuania. Just like Birštonas, Druskininkai is famous for its mineral water resorts, which are wonderful, but there is a lot more to do here. There is an aqua park and an indoor ski arena for those who love an active holiday. Druskininkai also has lots of museums to visit, such as Čiurlionis House, Druskininkai Museum, and Česnulis Wooden Sculpture Park. But the most famous is Grūtas Park, just outside the town. It is quite a bizarre museum with a collection of all the Soviet sculptures and other symbols taken from all around Lithuania and brought here, creating a sort of an outdoor museum of Soviet Lithuania. The enormous statues of Lenin, Stalin and other comrades, Soviet playgrounds and music from those times create quite a theme park, with barbed wire fences and watchtowers included. On the natural side near Druskininkai there is also one of the most beautiful protected areas in the country. It is Dzūkija National Park, protecting the largest forest area in Lithuania. While it is mostly forest fair, it is still a very popular place to visit for its rivers. It is one of the most famous places for kayaking trips in the country. Rivers such as Merkys and Ūla are crossing vast forests barely touched by human activity, which are wonderful options for summer kayaking trips. I went on a kayaking trip to Ūla last summer, and I was mesmerized by the silence and depth of the woodland surrounding the rushing river water with only a few tiny old villages dotted amidst the forest. Another interesting place on the list is Šiauliai city and the famous Hill of Crosses. The Hill of Crosses is a peculiar place. It's an ancient hill fort covered with thousands of crosses all over, but it's not a cemetery. All these crosses were brought by people seeking hope as a form of prayer. You can find crosses there with notes from all over the world, and everyone is welcome to add their own. The Hill of Crosses is situated near Šiauliai city, so it's very easy to visit them both. It has a lovely boulevard in the city center with local shops and cafes to explore. While in Šiauliai, it is also great to visit Chaim Frankel Villa Museum, which is a part of Šiauliai City Museum situated in a beautiful early 20th century villa. Another interesting place to check out is Rūta Chocolate Museum. Though small, it is quite fun for a visit to learn about the history of chocolate and one of the largest chocolate producers in Lithuania. From the city, let's go back to nature. In the east of Lithuania, you will find Aukštaitija National and Labanoras regional parks situated close to each other. They are some of the most picturesque areas in the whole countryside of Lithuania. Both Aukštaitija and Labanoras parks are known for their wonderful lakes, of which they each have hundreds and are perfect destinations for summer trips to nature. Aukštaitija National Park is a place where you can find the old traditions, centuries-old wooden architecture, and beautiful landscapes of hills and lakes, taking you back hundreds of years in time. Here you can visit Palūšė village, with a wooden church built in the 18th century, Ladakalnis hill with amazing lake views, ancient Ginučiai watermill and beekeeping museum. A beautiful place to explore the ancient craft and immerse yourself in the old countryside life, with plenty of space not just to see in a museum but also to relax. I have visited this museum years ago and it still has a place in my heart. Aukštaitija National Park is also famous for active tourism. There are plenty of cycling routes, options of kayaking through the lakes and sailing. Labanoras Regional Park is on this list also for similar reasons, but it has something different too. Labanoras is the second largest forest in Lithuania after the one in the previously mentioned Dzūkija National Park. And it also has rivers famous for kayaking. I had the luck to explore this too, but the rivers here are more beginner-friendly, especially River Žeimena. But Labanoras is different from the mentioned national parks in a way that there are hundreds of lakes inside the vast forest with plenty of campsites available for peaceful retreats to nature. You can see what I mean from one of the tallest observational towers in Lithuania situated near the lake Baltieji Lakajai. Lastly, Labanoras is also home to Molėtai Astronomical Observatory and the unique Ethnocosmology Museum next to it. This museum was one of my favorites to visit in Lithuania, and I think it's time to come back again soon. If you're looking for an alternative lake district in western Lithuania, then go to Samogitia National Park. At first glance, it is quite similar to Aukštaitija National Park in the east, with a beautiful landscape of tall hills, forests, and lakes all around. There are also some beautiful examples of the old wooden architecture, traditional crafts, and the Samogitian culture. The manor house in Palanga is also a gem of western Lithuania, with a Samogitian Arts Museum inside. Plateliai town and lake are probably the places that attract most people. It is a wonderful place for sailing and other water activities. There are also plenty of walking and cycling routes and campsites around the surrounding lakes and forests. But one very specific place is hiding among the serene landscapes of the national park. It is an old Soviet Union's complex of ballistic missile silo launch, which is now open as a museum of the Cold War. It is a very interesting place to visit if you are interested in history and if you would actually like to see the silos where deadly thermonuclear missiles used to wait on standby. Next place is yet another of my favorites in Lithuania, which I guess makes sense in this list. It is Panemunė Castles and Hill Forts Road. It is actually lots of places to see along the banks of the river Nemunas, starting from Kaunas all the way to Jurbarkas. And if you want more, coming back on the other side of the river, visiting some more manor houses and hill forts too. Here are some highlights of what you can see on the way. Raudondvaris Renaissance Castle and Park, picturesque Vilkija town with a museum of ethnic culture, dramatic-looking Seredžius Hill Fort, Raudonė Castle where you can visit its tower, and of course Panemunė Castle, the largest and most preserved Renaissance castle in Lithuania. There you will find a castle museum, restaurant, guest house for artists, and even a 4-star hotel. Well worth it if you feel like staying there longer. Panemunė Road is a great day trip option, very popular in summer to go by car or motorcycle. I have gone on this trip countless times throughout my life, as it is easy to start from Kaunas, and these places are amazing to pass by every time. Lithuania has hundreds of beautiful manor houses dotted all around the country, but if for some reason you want to visit just one of them, then I highly recommend it to be Pakruojis Manor, especially during one of its festivals. Pakruojis represents how an actual manor used to function, with gardens, working stables, farm animals, vegetable farms, brewery, distillery, and even an on-site doctor's office that this manor used to have back in the day. The main building is currently a hotel, and the guests are invited to dress up in the 19th century style costumes in order to fully embrace the atmosphere of that era. The restaurants there make dishes from locally grown produce too. Pakruojis is a great place to see all of this come alive again. And of course the architecture is beautiful too. And the flower festival in the summer transforms the park wonderfully. One more beautiful historical place to visit in northern Lithuania is Biržai. Often unjustly overlooked, this place has a lot to offer. Biržai town is situated on a lake shore where a large Renaissance bastion castle stands, the only of its type in Lithuania. It has a drawbridge, fortifications, and an arsenal. You can visit the museum inside and have a walk at the lakeside, which leads to a very long wooden bridge across the lake to a lovely 19th century manor house on the other side. Biržai is also famous for its landscape dotted with sinkholes, for which there is a regional park to visit. One of the most famous places is Kirkilai Lake Observation Tower, to see an interestingly shaped lake formed by sinkholes. Furthermore, Biržai is very well known for bread and beer produced in the region. Both of them you can try out there. One of the breweries has a restaurant and beer degustations available for visitors to try out the various types of beers. And last but not least on the list of places to visit in Lithuania is Kernavė archaeological site. Kernavė is one of the oldest settlements in the country, and the excavation findings on the hill forts are extremely important to the Lithuanian identity. For this reason, Kernavė archaeological site is protected by UNESCO World Heritage. The site consists of a beautifully situated group of hill forts with views of a vast valley of Neris River. These are some of the most picturesque hill forts in the country. Come here on a quiet day to enjoy the peace and beauty of the landscape, or on the contrary, try visiting Kernavė on one of its big yearly events, when the hill fort area becomes truly alive and bustling with a medieval flair. One of the best times to visit here is during the International Days of Live Archaeology Festival, which takes place in July, with various Baltic medieval activities available to try, crafts fairs and show fights. Another very popular event held here every year is the Midsummer Festival, which takes place on the 23rd of June. It is a beautiful traditional Baltic celebration of the shortest night of the year and involves lots of dancing, making flower crowns, and fun activities around the fire all night long. So these are the top places to visit in Lithuania that I would recommend visiting from my own experience. Lithuania is more than just its bustling cities, and I'm glad that the countryside still has many well-preserved natural and historical places waiting to be explored. Which spots caught your eye? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today, and thanks for watching!